my friends, my family, my social media censored. I don't want to get into too much detail about that, but this was my opportunity, like Papa Bear said a few moments ago, for people to actually hear me. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never been to a protest or rally. I've definitely never spoken at one, but I speak a lot, so here we go. Let me start by saying that I have been an educator for 10 years, actually a little bit longer, in the public system, which has always been my passion. But today I primarily stand here as a mommy to 3 kids. I wouldn't be standing here if I thought I was alone on this, because then I would be uncomfortable, even more uncomfortable than I am now. And I believe that many would also say the same over the last year or so. I want to start by saying that I am not an anti-anything.
Yes.
I'm not here to proclaim that I know more than the professionals in their fields about what they're doing, but I know my children, and I know my students, and I know my past students. I know when they're feeling off. I know when they're changing. I can feel what they're feeling. And I know that you guys can too, because you're here.
Yes.
At this point of the pandemic, I need to question if I am doing more to hurt my own kids than helping them. And it's time for everybody to start doing the same. In February of this year, my 6-year-old twins, their kindergarten class was quarantined for 10 days because of a positive 19 COVID case. Things quickly became very clear to me that the very aggressive public health measures and rules were not consistent or making sense to me as a teacher, to me as a parent, and to me as a Canadian citizen who just received the new updated health measures that stated that if students were to have symptoms in a school setting, that we need to gather siblings and bring to the office and check on the situations, with them and make sure that they're safe and that they're negative, COVID tested or quarantined for everybody's safety, which is completely reasonable if you think that there is a pandemic going around.
Yes.
And I'm not going to speak to that too because I'm not a scientist, but we clearly know where I stand right now. But when I got the phone call that my twins were going to be quarantined, clearly as a single mom, a separated mom of 3 kids, and an educator to, I believe, there's 30 in my class. I lost my train of thought.
As an educator, 3 kids, your kids were quarantined.
Yes, thank you. My kids were quarantined. I don't need this paper to tell you because I feel so strongly about this. But I was allowed to go to work in the same school as my twins that were quarantined. Let me say that again.
Yes, say it again.
I was allowed to go to my grade 5, 6 portable and teach my students while my grade 6 were at home. My 6-year-old twins were at home staying safe, alone, or supervised by somebody who is not allowed to be in my house because we're not allowed visitors, who I am not allowed to get into a daycare system because they are school-age children, and now I'll get into this in a minute, who are not allowed to be in emergency child care center because apparently it's not an emergency.
It makes sense.
On the one hand, the health unit was calling me 4 times a week, 2 kids, double the calls, to ensure, please listen, threaten, put fear in parents in our homes that I need to keep my twins 6 feet apart in my home. That I should be ensuring that they are not eating with the majority of the people in the house, and that bath times, meal times, bathrooms are not being shared. I don't know if you guys have any magical children around, but my children do not bathe, feed, wipe their own butts at 6 years old right now. I need to take care of them. Yes. It is my job. Thank you. understand that my job also is to be there for my students, because that is why I got into teaching. Not for the summers off that everybody thinks we get paid for that we don't. It's banked money, but let's get to the problem here. I can barely manage my twins staying away and hands-on on a regular day, let alone dealing with a class, let alone dealing with my 9-year-old son with special needs, who, by the way, was allowed to take public transportation to his school, which is not the school I teach at, which is not the school that my twins go to his social skills class.
How is that normal?
I need a little bit of support here to say that. I started to feel like I was going a little insane. How am I going to teach my students? Watch my children, ensure that my 9-year-old son gets to school with nobody getting him on a resource bus. You can't. But there's no liability, right? There is no liability. Nobody is liable if my son walks out that door because he's a flight risk. He is a special needs student in my board who is doing class online. So I am supposed to control all my children, their special needs. They need to be fed, they need to be medicated, as well as take care of almost 30 kids online, their emotional needs, their flight risks, and calling in EAs and everybody else to support me. It is just unacceptable. I don't know where I am, and I knew I was going to go off on a tangent, but I didn't know that I was literally going to be driven to speak this truth that I haven't had the opportunity to do because people block, because trolls block, because people don't want to hear the truth, because people are cognitively experiencing cognitive dissonance at a level that we can't even imagine right now, because they're so invested in this lie. I don't know if I believe in COVID-19. I haven't done enough research. I've been trying to keep my children alive. I have been trying to keep my students alive. I have been trying to not have a stroke again because I had one at 39 years old. I have been moving because I have been evicted. I don't have time to make sure of all the stats, but what I do know is what I'm feeling. Okay? And nobody is talking about that I cannot be the only person in Ontario and Canada to feel this way. You guys need to stop cheering so I can continue because I'm choked up. I began to ask myself, was this okay? And it's not, clearly. How are parents expected to do boatloads of new jobs on top of jobs that we had before that were unacceptable? How are we supposed to do this without asking any questions? We teach kids to be critical thinkers. That is our job. That is like a higher level order thinking, and we are not doing it ourselves.
That's right. Doing awesome, Jen.
No, I can't. I gotta get through this, or we're gonna be standing here all day.
I'll stand here all day.
Okay. Thank you. We're not demanding any common sense answers in all hopes that this is all beneficial for our children. Yes, we are. They're not. Right?
Right.
That's why they're not here.
Right.
Because we can see what is happening with our children ourselves. We know our children better than anyone else.
Yes.
Why is it okay that when I look for answers from some of the experts and the choices that they are making, that they never have any answers for, just general statements, that it's for the safety of our people and it benefits everybody? It seems like these people who are making the decisions are constantly passing the baton to other people to provide answers that aren't coming. For example, how is it acceptable, and I said I'd get to this part, so I'm just going to say it quickly, that in our first school shutdown, emergency childcare services, I'm not sure about other counties, but where I live, up north, became available to teachers and teacher staff that all of a sudden were put at home, because we're in school, in a school setting, to emergency learn at home, but keep our children in a center where they are cared for, supervised, educated, and all that stuff. It was available the first time. From my belief, this pandemic has gotten worse, right? We are in now another school shutdown. However, one difference. The government has decided to make a provision on the Emergency Child Care Act in the last month, maybe, I don't know the date, because when I enrolled my children at the Emergency Child Care Center near my house, so I could go back to work in a couple weeks because I am currently on a leave, there is no emergency child care for teachers and staff that are at home teaching. You need to be in a school. I don't even know if I said that correctly. It didn't make sense saying it. We just had a school shutdown. I understand that there are some classes and some needs and some students that need to be in a class. My son is in a special needs class. Fortunately enough, he's able to be safe at home. I don't know if that's fortunate because nobody is watching this child. Nobody is teaching this child. Yes, his teacher is teaching him. I'm not going to say nobody. I'm going to say nobody is really responsible and accountable but me. But I'm accountable and responsible to all of it, so it just doesn't make any sense. I can't continue like that, and I can't do it alone. And we can't do it alone. Like I said, nobody is accountable and everyone blames other agencies or governments and ignores the problem altogether. I'm gonna finish, but I wanna just finish up with what I wrote because at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm sure I was making a lot of sense. No one is accountable or talking about the problem, but we all know who suffers. When parents suffer, children suffer. My children are suffering because I am suffering. The kids are suffering. No one can give clear answers to anything that has happened. I read that page already, but we know that. It is no surprise to me that as we near the end of Mental Health Week here, actually I believe it's the last day today, Sick Kids Hospital tweeted yesterday, and I quote, Sick Kids Hospital tweeted yesterday. I gotta find the quote, because I know what they said, but I gotta quote it. The numbers tell the critical story of the overwhelming needs across child and youth mental health. At Sick Kids, we've seen an increase of 350 people, youth and sick children admitted in the hospital and visitors for mental health compared to last year. That is one hospital in Toronto. We are talking about Canada here. Many hospitals, many children, many mental health issues that aren't being spoken of.
But our Minister of Health said the pandemic did not cause the increase.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, I'm going to finish off by saying it is the time for parents to talk about what we're seeing and feeling in our homes, on our streets, with our children, through experiences, our struggles, bounce ideas collectively off each other because others are in the same situation. Let them breathe. Let those kids play. Let them learn. Let them have fun. Let them have faith.
Let them hug.
Let them hug.
They're teachers.
They're teachers too. I know I missed a page, but I really want to say something.
You're getting good at this.
No, I'm never leaving. Because I lost my spot, now I'm going to have a hard time.
It's easier than taking care of it.
Okay, this is the hello. It's gone. I wanted to back off this fight many times. But then I realized who was watching and who was depending on me and us. My hope today is that if one person feels and resonates with this truth through similar difficult situations, is that we begin to speak, delegate, invent, create, ask questions, learn how to motivate our children again, get them excited for life and learning again, because mine are not. I don't know about yours. As a parent, we can't be closed-minded and blindly accept everything that is being demanded and forced upon our children now, just because they're telling us it's for their benefit. It is our obligation to support, protect, and speak up for our children. They look to us for guidance, and especially during this is very scary and confusing time for them. They don't even know what's going on a regular basis. We have to guide them. In our current situation, the efficiency that they have been able to shuffle around from online to remote to mask, double mask, no masks, outside masks, social distance from friends, clubs and sports canceled. They have risen to every expectation we forced upon them, and they've done it with a smile, not understanding the implications. This is my personal experience and the experience of my friends, some friends and family as well. It's sad. I have witnessed also some beautiful miracles and meaningful encounters lately that I never saw coming, and probably more to come that I don't see coming.
Yes. Yes.
But we are in charge of the little people, the little ones. Remember to pay attention to the child. I believe that children will show somehow that something is wrong before they even understand that something is wrong. That they are struggling before they realize they are struggling. And it is our job collectively as humans, but parents, teachers, citizens, everybody, professionals, science doctors, everybody, to recognize their cry outs because they are crying out. And create some positive change for them now because they're our future. That's it.